right, who's ready?
We're ready.
Are we ready?
Yes, who's ready to win on November 8th?
We are.
Let's make some noise! Make some noise!
Thank you so much. All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm New York State Senator Jessica Ramos, and we are here in Diversity Plaza in the heart of Jackson Heights, where so many communities converge, quite frankly, on so many issues. But today, we are here to call on our neighbors to do their duty, their one fundamentally important thing to do over the next week, and that is to vote. We want our neighbors to come out and vote for our Democratic ticket here in Jackson Heights and in the neighboring communities of Woodside and Sunnyside and Corona, East Elmhurst. This section of Queens is, of course, as we know, one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse place in the country, where we speak 200 languages. We represent people from all walks of life. And of course, that means that we are crusaders for justice when it comes to our immigrant neighbors, our non-immigrant neighbors, and of course, ensuring that we increase our voter turnout here in our district. That's right. So, as we know, a few days ago, early voting started in the city of New York, in the state of New York, I should say, on October 29th. And early voting is going to be going through November 6th. Sunday, November 6th will be the last day to participate in early voting. And then, of course, we can all vote on Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 8th. And we're here today. I am joined by my colleagues in the Assembly, Assemblywoman Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, and Assemblywoman Catalina Cruz. And I think I saw soon-to-be Assembly Member Stephen Raga. And I'm not missing anybody. Okay. He's not. But we're here to show support for an amazing woman, a champion for the working class communities and the working class people that live right here in Queens. And so before we get to hear from our amazing Attorney General, Letitia James, we're going to hear from a few of my colleagues. And first up, I want to call someone who I work very closely with, and who also works very closely with our Attorney General, most recently on the reproductive health issue. And I'm sure she can tell you a little bit more about the initiative that she has introduced in the state legislature with the Attorney General's help. Please join me in welcoming Assemblywoman Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. Good afternoon, Jackson Heights. How are we feeling? Let me tell you, if you look around, this is emblematic. Hi, Tish. Of Jackson Heights. We are diverse, we are powerful, we are loud, and we are strong. So thank you for coming out today. So my name is Assemblymember Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. I use she, her, ella pronouns. Welcome to my side of the district, which is right here, and Catalina's side of the district, which is right here. So we're right in the middle, which is a perfect place to gather to celebrate our Attorney General, Tish James, and call upon all our neighbors to make sure that they turn out and vote for Tish James for Attorney General. So anyone who's followed her career knows that she is a fighter, whether it was in the city council, whether it was as public advocate, whether it is now as the Attorney General. She has been a fighter for everyday working people like the ones that are standing alongside me in Diversity Plaza. She has been a champion on so many issues, on racial justice, on human rights, on worker justice, on gender justice. It is amazing to see her work and to see her fight. And she fights with love, and she fights with dignity.
and she fights in a way in which you feel seen. And I want to share how she's made me feel seen. I spent 13 years running the National Latina Institute for Reproductive Justice. I have spent 13 years at the front lines fighting for reproductive justice to ensure we have a world where everyone can determine if, when, and how to create the family they wish to create, and then ensure that they can raise that family with dignity. And it means access to health care. It means access to abortion care. It means access to contraception. It means access to affirming a sexual education for everyone. And Tish James has been a vocal fighter for this issue. Most recently, she stood up alongside me as we advocated for the Reproductive Freedom and Equity Fund that will ensure that New York State will actually be a safe haven for all people seeking abortions in states around us in which are hostile, in which they are denied care. We welcome them, and she has been a fighter alongside me. And on a personal note, she shared her personal story. No one understands this issue more personally than Tish James. She has come forward and talked about her own decision, grappling with whether or not to have a child. And she told her abortion story very publicly and very proudly, and in a way that with love and dignity, and affirming the decisions of so many of us that have had to make those decisions. So Tish, I thank you for that. Really, it makes such a difference to know that our community, our leaders understand the everyday issues that our communities are facing. So I'm so proud to support Tish James for Attorney General. We need to get her back in office. So we need to remind people, we are voting now until Sunday or on November 8th. We are voting on November 8th to get Tish James back in the Attorney General seat, because we need this champion for reproductive justice and for our working class communities. Thank you so much, Tish. Thank you so much, everyone, for being alongside me. And we cannot wait to celebrate her win on November 8th.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. And we, of course, are also joined by the amazing folks at Make the Road Action, who do so much work with our immigrant community. And actually, I would love to invite you guys to join me in welcoming one of our many immigrant representatives in the legislature, Assemblywoman Catalina Cruz.
Hey, Tish. So I fangirl every time I see her because as I could tell you the lawyer story, but I want to tell you the immigrant story. And the reason why some of us call her Saint Tish James. So about, what was that, like 4 years ago, a woman who was the Attorney General saved green light. A woman who is a fantastic lawyer, the first black woman to be the Attorney General, the first woman to be the Attorney General, period, saved green light and gave my neighbors the opportunity to drive and feel seen and be able to feel safe. Because when we had a governor, whose name we shall not mention, threatened the bill that would give undocumented New Yorkers the possibility to drive, Tish James said, not under my watch. Tish James said, not only is it constitutional, but I am going to defend it in court if I need to. And that is what Tish James has been doing since the day she became our Attorney General, the people's lawyer. She doesn't do the popular things because she does the right things. And she gets a lot of flack for it. And we're here for it. She goes after a former president. She goes after the banks. She goes after those businesses like Libre, who charge our communities thousands of dollars for a bond to be able to come out of immigration holding. She goes after the lenders. She goes after anyone who wrongs our community. She does not care who you are. She does not care what office you held. All she cares is about protecting New Yorkers. And that's why we gotta send her back to do her job, because she does it so well. She does it from the heart, as Jessica said. She does it with dignity. She does it with love, because if you know her from way back when she was a lawyer at the Attorney General's office, when she was a city council member, when she was our public advocate. She's been doing this with love and dignity from day one. And for that, we thank you, and we got to get you back in office. And so we invite you to go out and vote, and not just vote, but do it conscientiously. Don't let the headlines cloud your judgment. Know that from day one we've had Tish James with us, and we need to send her back to continue to protect us. And then turn over that ballot and make sure that you vote yes on every single one of the questions. Well, all of the questions, honey, all of the questions. We're not doing that. We got it. Not right now, baby. We got to make sure that we vote yes on all the questions, because our future depends on it. And do it today, do it now through Sunday, or do it Tuesday. But make sure you go out and vote. Les voy a contar una pequeña historia de por qué le decimos la abogada del pueblo. Y por qué yo le puse Santa Leticia James. Porque cuando nuestra ley para poder manejar, para nuestra comunidad indocumentada poder manejar, fue amenazada por el exgobernador diciendo que no era constitucional, llegó nuestra Leticia James. Y le decimos así porque aunque tiene un título y un título altísimo, ella siempre ha sido amiga del alma y amiga del pueblo. Y dijo, no solo es constitucional, pero voy a defender el derecho de nuestras comunidades inmigrantes. Y nos ayudó a que pasara la ley. Y ahora nuestra gente puede manejar sin tener miedo. Y así es que ella trabaja. Trabaja con el alma, con dignidad, defendiendo los derechos de la gente. No porque sea popular, sino porque es lo que necesitamos hacer. Y les pido a nuestra comunidad que de hoy al domingo salgan y voten por ella. O que lo hagan el martes, que voten por ella. Y que ella nos pueda seguir protegiendo y luchando por las cosas que necesitamos. Y cuando voten, denle vuelta al boleto y voten sí también en las otras enmiendas. Muchas gracias y a votar por Leticia James.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Well, you've heard from my colleagues why we're voting for Leticia James to stay, our amazing Attorney General. She is one of the few Attorney Generals that is taking on our past president and the crimes that he's committed. She is a champion for tenants. She has taken on bad employers who engage in wage theft. It's actually a key part of our public safety is ensuring that our immigrants are actually paid for the work that they've performed so they can keep a home, so that they can provide for their families. And she's also helped to get us a record number of guns off of our streets here in New York State. And so at this critical juncture, it is important, more important and imperative, more than ever before, for us here in New York State to re-elect Leticia James as our next Attorney General. I want to thank you, Attorney General, for defending us so passionately with so much determination, conviction, and your fierce voice does always encourage the rest of us to keep fighting and to be your soldiers in the legislature so that we can deliver to Black and brown communities across the state the quality of life that we truly deserve. Thank you for coming to Diversity Plaza. I leave you with our Attorney General, Leticia James.
Bienvenido a Diversity Plaza. Mujeres fuertes. It's an honor and a privilege to be here this afternoon with my sisters in the struggle. And it's also, let's recognize Assemblymember Raja. Where is he? Where did he go? Yay! A man who gets it. Thank you. Listen, this race, this campaign, a week from today, and the polls are tightening. And they're tightening because there are individuals who are engaging in scare tactics. Individuals who are appealing to fear and to hate and to race and to ethnicity And it's important that individuals understand that we need to come together and not be divided. We should not be divided by artificial constructs. And it's important that individuals understand that we need individuals in positions of power who can speak about those who are marginalized and vulnerable and those left out of the sunshine of opportunity. We need to talk about landlords who prey upon communities, particularly immigrant communities. We need to talk about businesses that prey upon immigrants. We need to talk about language access and all of the issues that this community and communities like this community need and deserve. But you see, they're not part of the discussion. They just want to, again, engage in fear-mongering. And I would say they just want all of us to stay home and not vote. But we're not going to stay home. We're going to vote because we recognize the power in our hands. I've done my work, and now it's up to all of you to march into those polls, early voting or on election day, in defiance to all that is happening in our nation and in our city and our state, and say that your vote is your voice and you will be heard. And you want someone as the Attorney General who came from poverty, who came from humble beginnings, who recognizes what's at stake, who refuses to bow down, who refuses to allow others to define her, and who will use her voice each and every time to speak on behalf of people who are ignored. That's what we have done in the last 3.5 years. And that's what we will continue to do. Standing up for members of the LGBTQ community, standing up for the Latino community, standing up for immigrants, standing up for the Jewish community, standing up for the Asian community, standing up for all of those communities that they seek to ignore. So, they say the polls are close, but the only poll that matters is the one on election day. And we are going to show them, we're going to shock them and let them know that we're going to vote them out of office. And we're going to stand with those who speak for us. It is a great day here in Diversity Plaza. It's a great day to be with my sisters and also with my brother in waiting. It's a great day to be with all of you today as we stand and affirm the issues that we care about, and that is the issues of individuals who are ignored constantly and repeatedly, and demand that all that we want is a piece of the pie. Investments in communities that have been ignored, investments in communities, unfortunately, that don't get their fair share of the budget, standing up for issues that are oftentimes ignored and not part of the political agenda, and making sure that these three sisters are at the table of power. And if they're not invited to the table of power, they create their own table of power. So, as the Attorney General, I look forward to seeing all of you at the victory party. But more important than that, after we win, we've got to go back to work, because there's so much at stake. Our democracy is at stake. We won't go back. We refuse to go back. And we will stand right now in the front lines and speak truth to power each and every time. So what are we going to do? Vote. 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 That's right.
All right. Well, you heard from our Attorney General. What are we going to do? Vote. That's right. So early voting is going on now through Sunday, November 6th. On Election Day, November 8th, by 9 o'clock, we want every single neighbor to have come out to vote for our full Democratic ticket. Starting with our Governor, Kathy Hochul, our Lieutenant Governor, Antonio Delgado, our Attorney General, Letitia James, our Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli, your State Senator, Jessica Ramos, your Assemblywomen who are with me here today, and everyone else. We have the opportunity to send bigotry packing. We have an opportunity in this election to send a strong message from the most diverse place in the world that coexistence works, that the fight for justice will take us fighting alongside each other as the multi-ethnic democracy that we are, ensure that every single one of us is living the quality of life that we so hardly work for. So thank you all for coming. Muchas gracias por venir. No se les olvide votar. Hasta el 6 de noviembre termina la votación temprana. El día de elecciones es el martes 8 de noviembre. Y para esa fecha, a las 9 de la noche, cuando cierren las urnas, queremos haber podido decir que nuestros vecinos salieron a votar abrumadoramente por el ticket demócrata, empezando con la gobernadora, incluyendo nuestra procuradora general Leticia James, incluyéndonos a todos nosotros para seguir luchando por nuestros inmigrantes y por nuestros trabajadores aquí en nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias. Thank you for being with us today. Go out and vote. Vote, 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 vote.
Can I get a picture?